All right, I'd like to welcome all to this evening's regular board meeting of the Lakeview Public Schools Board of Education. Today, Tuesday, August 6th, 2024, 7:30 p.m. at the boardroom at the Weed Educational Campus. For the record this evening, Mr. Miskelly will not be in attendance this evening due to a personal conflict. Moving on with the agenda, the minutes of the regular meeting of July 9, 2024.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the regular meeting minutes from the last board meeting.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Taylor. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Madam Secretary, have we any public communication this evening?
I do not.
Board of Education Administration comments. Well, here we are, halfway through the summer and looking down the barrel of school to start pretty soon. So onward with a new school year and a lot of good things ahead of us, we hope. Some current things. It's driving through the district, can see some work being done at the elementary buildings. Princeton and Harmon, that's been ongoing for quite some time. That I thought we would have been past at this point, but the athletic field, there's progress there. A couple months ago, we had talked about when we could look at it opening up the athletic complex, and August 11th was the date, was the target. How are we looking?
We're looking, not August 11th, but we're looking good for the start of school. We've got all the contractors lined up. The turf is complete at this point. The track surface is down. Working with Sean and his team to make sure that that gets striped to the track coaches and everybody's likings. The bleachers are 90% installed. The press box goes up tomorrow, so you'll see portions of 11 miles shut down for that lift. So that'll be in tomorrow. We've had some significant rain events. We had about 8 teams from school got out. That's certainly hampered some things, but we've got a plan to have the parking lot ready for the start of school. We've been working through some, you start digging in the ground, you find some things underground. We've had a few issues there. We've been working with the design team to make sure that we, overcome those as quickly as possible. Plans are in place and contractors are mobilized. You'll see work going on, 6-7 days a week from this point forward to make sure that we're ready for the start of school. We're working with Sean to make sure that practices, soccer and football are not interrupted, and we're going to be ready for the first game on the 26th, which I believe is the soccer game, and then football is really there to follow. So we've got other work going on at the building, kitchens, boiler rooms, and all of those will be completed as planned.
When you say the 26th, you're talking August, I presume?
Correct, yes.
Okay. I have to be clear here because we've had some commitments that, again, have fallen.
Yeah.
And, some of us take note on that, and unfortunately, here we are again, missed some commitments.
Understood.
And, one of the observations I have regarding the bleachers, driving down 11 Mile Road over the last couple of weeks, when you've seen a decent rain, there is a lot of ponding of water under that new slab of concrete. Now, what happens over time with water sitting like that in the wintertime turns to ice? What does that do to metal? Cause rust, corrosion?
So there's all of the storm system, all of the stormwater that let's say lands in that area will shed to the west and will be part of the underground that's underneath the parking lot, and then that heads out to the north. So there will be additional drainage installed there that right now is collecting because that can't be installed until the parking lot portion is done. So that'll all be part of that. So that water ponding is only a condition that exists now during construction and won't exist once construction is completed. I think we've actually added some additional edge drainage along the sidewalk there, if I remember correctly, that's gonna pull even more water out of there. So I know that the civil team has been looking at that closely to make sure.
There's a whole section of the drain that runs under the temporary construction road there, the bleachers stuff there.
Yeah.
So that's not installed yet,
Right.
and that's gonna help alleviate that water.
And just the sequencing of the underground, the stuff under the parking lot is our primary goal right now. That'll actually be kind of the last piece that gets tied in, before if you think about kind of that parking lot, we'll be working from back to front, and that storm drain's at the front, so we'll be
Okay. Now, when you say August 26th, are you talking about the parking lot is in, it's striped?
Parking lot in, striped, again, looks like 10 days, we got some great weather in front of us. We've been, just about every storm structure, piece of pipe has been redesigned based on some existing conditions, just existing foundations, some sanitary lines that we didn't know were there. That's all behind us now, but it's gonna be tight right down to the stretch. So, we've got backup plans in the event that we have to put the base coat down and stripe that, or, there could be some fencing or something that would be the last thing that we do. But we've got contingency plans to make it look as nice as possible for the start of school, usable for the start of school, and then just really drive towards those, kind of big event days to make sure that we're 100% buttoned up. Fences, final grades, seating, all of those things.
Yeah, we're not looking at contingencies, we're looking at done.
Yeah, we're working towards done. We're working towards it.
All right.
We will be on site, the contractor for Bart Mallow, every day from now until school gets in to make sure that happens.
Okay. Any comments from the board during?
Contractors have bonds up, right? I mean, can we hold these, and isn't that the point of these bonds, keep them honest?
Well,
If they just disappear for weeks on end, like,
Yeah, nobody's disappeared, and they,
not this project, but, I don't know, other,
11 miles.
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, they, at this stage of the game, it is not a contractor issue. I mean, whatever we've been able to do, we've done, kind of since the project started. So there's like, kind of a sequence. We have to do so much of that turf work and kind of work our way out. And then when we needed them, they were there. And like I mentioned before, there's been some design items that we've been working through that have, caused some delays. But again, we meet daily with them. We were on site this morning with the site, the paving contractor, concrete contractor. They're all on board. I mean, they're ready. They understand the commitments they need to make to pull this off. And, provided we don't find anything new, that you dig up a hole and you find something, we would, Carl would be the first one to know that and, update the board. But as of right now, the work we have to do can be completed in the window we have. And our primary goal right now is the parking lot.
Okay. And it's been several weeks since we've been in the back of the building at the high school to see the new addition going on that you can't see from the street.
Yeah.
And it's all safely secured, so that's good. Where are we at on that? Is that going to be ready to go for students to start using it day one, or is that
No,
still?
we've had a fall turnover on that, and right now we're looking at the end of October for the turnover on that. And so elevator work starts September, we're in closing now, finishes will be starting over the next several weeks. And so we will have a fall turnover for that space.
Is that on schedule or behind schedule?
That's on schedule.
Yeah, that's on, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? Nothing? Administration? Excuse me.
School's right around the corner. Obviously, we have several events actually for new families to the district that are happening at all three levels. I don't know that we've shared that detail with the board yet, but it's been posting on Facebook and different places, and administrators from each building level will send that out to families and remind them and encourage them to participate. A little get-to-know-you type of thing. We obviously have a lot of staff being hired, positions, support positions now posted as we get closer to the school year, so people that are interested in a part-time job or whatnot, we certainly have those out there. Looking to fill them. We've got some folks in the audience probably tonight that are some of our new hires. I think we are rolling right forward. We've got a great opening day speaker. You're welcome to come and participate if you want. A technology CEO turned author turned speaker. Should be some nice comments. Some of our staff saw him at the ISD a couple of years ago, and they were very impressed with it, and it's something right on line with our goals as a district and organization, so that will be good. Anybody else?
Nothing else? Anything else from the board?
Athletics starts Monday.
All high school athletics start on Monday. And we are planning to use the gray turf on Monday for practices.
Practices,
And
okay.
I've confirmed with Bart Mallow that we are going to have a plan to get our kids out of the building, onto the field, back into the building safely.
Out of the building from the high school you're talking about?
Yeah, because the football team's going to use the locker room.
Okay,
So they'll come out of there, and so we have to coordinate that with them.
Mhm.
So we're working on that.
first home game for football?
September
20th?
20th, something like that.
At the homecoming game?
It is the homecoming game, yes.
Okay. So we're going to have half the season away to start, and then the rest of the season at home?
Well, yeah, I think we've got 4 home games, 5 away this year.
Okay, cool.
So we're kind of front-loaded with the away games this year, and next year we'll be front-loaded with the home ones.
Okay, fair enough.
Might be a good night to have a grand opening,
There you go.
ribbon cutting. Several of you might be there anyway from the parade, right? Just saying.
Perfect. Any other comments? All right, moving on to item E, draft superintendent's 2024-2025 goals discussion.
As is true every August, you've got a first cut, I guess, of my goals, and not just, really isn't reflecting just me, because many of those things, as you know, are affecting a number of people at this table and participating in that process, as well as building administrators. I do like to highlight a few of them, though. You know, we have, last year, we started an implementation of K-5 mathematics curriculum and materials. We were intending to only do part of that because it's a heavy lift for those teachers, and so this year, the second half of that is going to be implemented. We've got brand-new materials that you approved earlier in the year, earlier in this calendar year, for 6th grade, 6th through 8th grade math, and 6th through 8th grade ELA. We also have a pilot, K-5 pilot going with ELA. Some teachers were here this past couple of weeks getting materials, and they'll be starting to use those in the fall and test them out and see how that goes. Bookworms. Bookworms. The second step that you approved previous years is now moving from K-5 to 6th. So those students are going to get that same type of experience that they've been seeing in 5th grade, moving forward to 6th grade, which is social, emotional, how to deal with your peers, things of that nature. So should help reduce some of the issues that might appear in a normal school setting. We're going to be more intentional and proactive with the use of media, both your traditional media, the social media, our website, print media. There's been some story coverage just in the last few weeks, purposeful kind of things that we put out and seeking them to come and cover, and that will keep the word circulating about. Post-COVID, we did a lot of that pre-COVID, and post-COVID, kind of COVID stopped a lot of it, and then now post-COVID, we got a regular reporting with C&G, so we've got a relationship there. New safety protocols for the doors. We have new entrances, obviously. Every building has now the secure entry process and video camera at the door with a buzzer, and so we're going to use those a little bit differently, because if you don't need to be in the building, you won't be in the building. The idea of coming and dropping things off, or I want to come take my kid to lunch, you need to make an appointment ahead of time. I think parents and community will understand our protocols need to be that tight, so that people that don't need to be in the building and shouldn't be, aren't going to be, and can't get in without pre-approval. Obviously, I'm going to keep working with our state, our local state rep and senator, because we've got a budget that's unacceptable right now, the way it stands, and how K-12 schools particular are affected. Charters were better off in this budget, ironically, than us. So we're going to deal with that more, hopefully. We have a bunch of new laws and regulations that are being implemented we have to address, particularly in teacher evaluation, administrator evaluation. The board's actually going to end up having to deal with that too, because of my evaluation, changes that occurred in the law back in February. And our team has been negotiating essentially with the teacher union about some of those issues, that part of the language that was previously in those contracts, master agreements, It was no longer after 2012 and now is back in some of the words, some of the changes that are required to be part of those contracts now. So a lot of hours have been put into that this summer with both sides, obviously participating. We got a couple of big bids, some of our big service vendor bids that'll come out next spring. We're going to have negotiations for the close of this contract with the teacher union starting in the late spring, hopefully, not waiting to summer or fall. We've got to evaluate our grant status. Now, some of these grants are eliminated and ending. We're carrying over some of the money to this year, but that at the end of this year, that's going to change a lot unless something different happens with the legislature and the governor. And obviously, we're going to be continuing these bond projects and on our sequence of events, if you will, and paying some of those bills down the road in the spring with capital projects funds that you set aside over the last couple of years. But I think long-term, as I've stated before, long-term, we're going to end up with a presentation this fall from Finance Council and Finance Advisor about potential long-term capital projects funds, whatever those might look like, and whether the board wants to move forward with something that might include a public vote. And some of that's tied to when an old debt is retired. So those are going to be some of the highlight reel, I suppose, that you'll face at the board table in the coming months, and our team will be working on behind the scenes and openly in front of the scenes. So any questions, any suggestions, any specifics? We don't act on this now, but you'll act on it in September. Probably have a couple more line items in there in September when you see it.
Looks good to me.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item F, appointment of MASB delegate.
Every year in the fall, the Michigan Association of School Boards has a fall conference, and they perform what's called the delegate assembly at that conference. And then districts have the opportunity to have representatives participate in the delegate assembly and make votes on behalf of the district's interests. If anybody's going to attend that conference and would like to be designated as our delegates, Mr. President, you have the opportunity to identify those folks.
Do we have any interest?
I went last year, it's a really easy thing. It doesn't take very long. I actually got the chance to vote. I don't know if somebody else is interested, but I will go if you want me to go.
Okay, anybody else interested?
I
Was-
know I have a conflict normally on Thursday evenings.
As do I. You should just go.
All right, Ms. Taylor? Thank you. All right, moving on to general. Item A, first reading, board policy and administrative regulations updates.
This is a first reading of the policy and administrative regulation updates recommended by Lakeview's policy consultant Miller Johnson Law. The board's ad hoc subcommittee reviewed these proposed updates and changes with administration in detail at their meeting of July 9th, 2024, and suggested bringing them forward with a few minor notations provided in handwritten form on the attachment. Those policy and administrative regulation updates include bylaws 1003 and 1004, policy 3006, and policy 4005, and administrative regulations inside of the 2000s, 3000s, and 8000s series. There's no action required at this time, but any comments or suggestions from the board will be taken into account before we bring it to a second reading in September.
Comments from the board?
I think we covered it well in subcommittee, and let's go from with that.
Okay, cool, thank you. On to personnel, item A, changes in personnel at our places this evening is an updated or revised personnel agenda item.
Tonight, administration is bringing forward the following changes in personnel since the last presentation to the Board of Education on July 9th. New hires, Maria Paluzzi, Jefferson Middle School special education teacher, Alexis Pavle, Greenwood Elementary School 5th grade teacher, Alicia Wagner, Ardmore Elementary School 5th grade teacher, Christopher Fabre, Lakeview High School special education teacher, Rachel Joseph, Jefferson Middle School math teacher, Caitlin Kelly, Lakeview High School special education teacher, Phoenix Roybal, Lakeview High School Auto Shop Co-op. Resignations as listed. Fall Sports Athletic Coordinator John Carr. Schedule B, returning coach and sponsors for the 24-25 year as listed. Schedule B, new coach sponsors, Dave Schindler, Lakeview High School Football 9th grade assistant coach. Melissa McCabe, Lakeview High School Volleyball junior varsity coach. Abigail Goff, Lakeview High School Volleyball 9th grade coach. Adriana Kluge, Jefferson Middle School cheerleading head coach. Antonio Maniaci, Lakeview High School soccer boys 9th grade coach. And Heather Piggott, Lakeview High School Huskets junior varsity coach.
Mr. President, I move that the Lakeview Board of Education approve the changes in personnel as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Under curriculum, item A, Lakeview High School Marching Band, New Life Band. Oh, I'm sorry, we have some new hires.
We do.
Here I go again.
As Mr. Paulson said, we've been very, very busy. We've had lots of really great candidates who have come across our interview teams, and I'm really excited about our selections and the people we have. Tonight, we do have two of our new hires that are here, and I want them to stand up when I say something. So Alexis, if you wouldn't mind standing up so that the board can see you, and I'll say a little bit about you. So Alexis is coming to us. She has worked at National Heritage Academy most recently, coming out of a third grade position, but she's done fifth grade before as well. And she has her bachelor's of elementary education for the University of Michigan. And we had lots of great conversation in the full team with her first interview, and then her second team, we have all kinds of things that we're looking forward to that she's going to bring to the table and to our students here. So welcome aboard, and I know that you brought some guests. Would you like to introduce them?
This is my husband, Corey, my mom, Penny, and my dad, Tom.
Great.
Great.
Congratulations. And Rachel is here as well. So Rachel is actually our most recent hire. She and I were FaceTiming from my car at the ISD after training yesterday afternoon. So I'm really excited that she was able to join us tonight. We had also a really great conversation, and the interview team was so excited about her. And we had all of her reference checks that I was ready, if she was the top candidate at the end of our conversation, I was ready to make her an offer right then and there, and that's what I did. And that's because she has so much on her resume as well to bring. She has her master's from Wayne State in educational leadership. She has a Bachelor of Arts in elementary education from Saginaw Valley, and she also has a Bachelor of Arts in sociology and anthropology and political science from Olivet. So she has a real wide base, and she is coming to us teaching high school at Mount Clements. And so we are really thrilled about the things that you'll be able to bring to our district and enhance us. So we welcome you, and I know that you have some guests with you. Yes, excellent, great. Well, welcome aboard.
Yes. Awesome. Yes, welcome aboard to all the new hires to Lakeview this evening. Okay, moving on. Curriculum. Item A, Lakeview High School Marching Band to New Life Band Camp.
The Lakeview High School Marching Band would like to travel to Rose City, Michigan for a band camp experience on August 11th, 2024. Students have attended New Life Band Camp in past summers and were very pleased with the professional music instruction they received in preparation for their fall competitive marching season. Students will have the opportunity to participate in intensive team building experiences as well as music and marching sessions. All transportation will be provided by Preferred Charter Services Bus Company. Students are responsible for the cost of the trip, which is $400 per person, and participated in various fundraisers throughout the past school year to help offset this cost. Marching Band Director Jody Thompson is the sponsor of this trip. Approximately 90 students will attend with Jody and 4 marching band assistants, in addition to 10 parent chaperones. They will depart from Lakeview High School on Sunday, August 11th, 2024, and will return on Saturday, August 17th, 2024.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the Lakeview High School marching band to travel to Rose City, Michigan to attend New Life Band Camp on August 11th through the 17th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Mr. Bear. Discussion on the motion.
I just had a quick
Mr.
question.
Manners.
These types of trips are typically brought to our attention way far in advance, and this one's just this coming Sunday, so I'm just curious as to why it's so short notice.
We have addressed that with our staff about the earliness of what we expect going forward, because as you have said, this is an annual trip, and once they're actually securing the dates with the camp, we should be having it at the board before students are fundraising and making payments. So in the future, that will be the case.
And so students have been fundraising for this before this approval? Okay.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to bond implementation, item A, bid pack number 7, change order, Media Center Foundation waterproofing at Princeton Elementary.
This evening, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following change order related to waterproofing of the Media Center Foundation at Princeton Elementary School. Over the past several months, administration identified water infiltrating the existing media center at Princeton Elementary. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the original foundation was never adequately waterproofed, leading to foundational issues, and stormwater had the ability to collect in the adjacent courtyard area. The excessive water saturated the soil, penetrated through the foundation, and into the underside of the flooring in the room. This situation was discovered after the floor was removed during the process of addressing the roof deck supports and wall connections previously found to be a problem in this area of Princeton. Administration directed Barton Mallow Builders and Partners in Architecture to develop a solution to prevent water from entering the foundation and room in this courtyard area. Specifications were developed and Barton Mallow Builders solicited pricing from multiple site work vendors already under contract in Lakeview. Simone Companies provided the best quote, and they are the current site contractor for bid package number 7. Simone Companies provided pricing which was reviewed by Barton Mallow Builders and PIA, which was found to be appropriate for the work that was specified. Therefore, administration recommends approval of an increase in contract through change order to Simone Companies in the amount of $28,750. Construction and design team members are here tonight if the board has any additional questions.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the change order and contract increase to Simone Companies through the change order in the amount of $28,750 for the foundation waterproofing at the old media center area at Princeton Elementary School as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item B, bid pack number 11, Lakeview High School electrical work partial rebuild.
Tonight, administration recommending award of electrical contractor for bid package number 11 related to the improvements to Lakeview High School pool and Schaublin Auditorium, which is to be funded from the 2022 Bond Fund Series 2 and/or Capital Projects Fund as needed. In April 2024, this full bid package was originally approved at the regular meeting of the Board of Education. However, after post-bid interviews and contract execution, the original contractor realized they did not follow the bid requirements and combined pricing with PR3, which was not discovered until after approval. The original electrical contractor awarded in April declined to execute a contract and rescinded their bid submittal under pricing offered during the spring. After consultation with legal counsel, it was determined the district could simply move forward and rebid just the electrical specifications to determine a new lowest qualified contractor. Because the work in these areas was planned for during the school year, there was adequate time to engage in a new bid process. Administration directed Barton Mallow Builders to rebid only the electrical portion of bid package number 11, and multiple vendors provided pricing. Barton Mallow Builders, with the assistance of Partners in Architecture, assisted administration in evaluating the new submittals and conducted post-bid reviews with the apparent low bidder, which was Shoreview Electric. Both Barton Mallow Builders and Partners in Architecture found all pricing to be appropriate for the scope of work. Therefore, administration recommends approval of contract for bid package 11 to Shoreview Electric in the amount of $1,655,000.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the contract for bid package 11 to Shoreview Electric in the amount of $1,655,000 for the electrical work at Lakeview High School Pool and Shoblin Auditorium, as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion.
So why didn't you just go to the next bid down? Why'd they rebid? I'm just trying to figure out, how'd you do a rebid? I don't understand this. Isn't the point of a bid that you guys pick one, the lowest, most qualified, and if they threw them out, wouldn't go to the next one? I mean, it's pretty simple of how a bid works, but.
Yeah, so after talking with administration,
But that's how bids work. That's, not to say it's not fair, it's not right.
right, so after talking with administration, it was more or less, do we want to go with that next contractor, or do we want to rebid this? So that was kind of the justification for moving forward with the rebid, so.
And I think a part of it was also, you know, if there was maybe three vendors the first time, and it's very unique work, so we weren't confident that the next bidder was going to be in a proper range, because there was $300,000 or $400,000 difference maybe in the number two.
Between the bid we got this time and the bid we got last time was significantly less. So there was savings to the district by going through a rebid process.
And you
But
can
that's-
choose,
but that's
you
not
can
how
put
it-
bids out and never take any of them, frankly.
But there was an open bid process, and everyone submitted their pricing, what they're doing. That's the whole point of doing a bid, is because we don't like the next person or the third option. I just don't want trouble outside, because we essentially cherry picked. That's what's worrying me. And we had issues with the brick, so.
Yeah, I mean, we feel confident with the contractor that's been selected, and, you know, the intention would have been to get the best price possible. And we felt in this case that by going back out to the market to get a better price was the right move to save money. The contractor that's been selected is currently working with the district and, you know, has relationships with the vendors that are involved, and we feel it's, you know, they're could be a good contractor for the project.
You don't have to convince me, it's just this, I don't want backlash from this because we rebid it because we didn't like it, and someone just threw a number out there that was low, and then you rescinded it. That's my piece on it.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I'm rereading this and I want to clarify something. It says, the original contractor realized it had not followed the bid requirements and had combined pricing with PR3 and was not discovered until after their approval. Can you clarify what PR3 is again?
So yeah, PR3 was actually work that was originally supposed to be done pre-COVID, and once COVID hit, they didn't end up doing that work. So we had bid that out. We had taken change order bids and also bids for bid pack 11, and between change order bids for bid pack 9 and bid pack 11 numbers, we came up with the best and most efficient price for PR3, basically. So it was work that was not completed prior to COVID, and then it came back on.
So instead of doing that work via change order, moving it to the bid process to make sure that you get against, the idea here is how much can we get to the market in a bid process that results in the best price?
And ultimately, a number of change orders from PR3, we had a building and site subcommittee meeting about that specific topic. And the difference between, I think, the bid numbers and the change order numbers was $480,000.
Yes.
Less using change orders as opposed to the bids. So any given day, the market with the bidding process and what vendors have work available, time available, how much they're gonna, throw at it to try to win it.
Yeah, we certainly understand your concern about making sure we have a fair process. And I think, the open bid process, going back to market, combining these things to make sure that, again, and I think the results show that you're gonna spend a lot less money by kind of going back out to market and rebidding it again. And we don't believe that the low contractor in this case is throwing a low number, after reviewing them. We're not concerned that their number's low to the point where they won't be able to perform. They've completed a lot of work in the school market, and we're confident they'll get it done.
Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? 5-1. Okay, moving on to business, 2024-25 food service program, adult lunch price increase.
The National School and Breakfast Lunch Program is a federal program which is regulated by the USDA and the MDE. The adult meal prices are evaluated each year, and then the reimbursement rate changes the adult meal price, and they needed to be adjusted accordingly to meet federal government requirements. The 2024-25 student lunch reimbursement rate was $5.13, and then the breakfast rate $2.93, which is an increase from last year. This affects the calculation of the adult meal price to ensure that the School Food Authority, the SFA, which is a non-program revenue ratio, is equal to or not part of the reimbursable meals to the total revenue from all sources. The following adult meal prices are proposed. You can see the year over year, it's raising 15 cents for both the breakfast and for the lunch, or 5% or 3%.
Mr. President, I move that the Lakeview Board of Education approve the adult meal lunch prices for the 24-25 fiscal year as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, support by Ms. Martin. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all those in, do you have a question?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item B, additional kitchen equipment spend down plan, Lakeview High School.
This evening, the administration recommends that the Board of Education consider the approval for purchase of additional kitchen equipment for the Lakeview High School Kitchen and Food Service Department. The additional equipment is part of the excess fund balance spend down plan developed under the Michigan Department of Education guidelines and submitted as part of our 2024-25 budget and was approved back on June 18th. The board policy requires the administration to gather and present competitive bids for the procurement of supplies, materials, and equipment when the cost exceeds the current state bid threshold of $29,572. The additional equipment offered in this proposal includes a double-decker combination oven, double stack steamer, a till skillet braising pan, and a dishwasher. The administration directed Barton Mallow to solicit quotes from several vendors that required these specifications. The quotes included equipment, freight, installation, and taxes. Multiple vendors, 3 in total, presented a bid. So at this point, the administration recommends the approval of the purchase of additional equipment as part of the excess fund balance spend down plan to Great Lakes Hotel Supply in the total of $122,890.01.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the additional kitchen equipment proposed to Great Lakes Hotel Supply for a grand total of $122,890.01 as presented.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Martin, support by Mr. Baird. Discussion on the motion.
Yeah, I've got a question. Taxes, I thought because we were a government entity, no sales taxes or?
They just had taxes on the bill. We actually had vendors that had tax, vendors that didn't. We made it apples to apples for this purpose. So if they're there for any reason, they're covered. If not, then it'll be less than the spend.
Any other comments?
This includes installation, right? We're not just buying.
Installation, and there's also parts too that connect, and then, so like the dishwasher Hobart comes in, that installation is included per the Hobart equipment, but all the other pieces needed the installation.
Okay. Is there any warranty on these?
Certain pieces, I think, one of them has 2 years, one of them has, I think, almost 3, and then I think the skillet is like 1 year.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're into the other part of the agenda. We've got a request here for 5 separate closed sessions. What I'd like to do is take the roll call vote for all 5 first, and then I'll have further instructions.
All 5 individually.
Individually,
is that correct?
yes, we'll have to do roll call on each
Okay,
one.
So roll call vote.
Number 1, request for closed session, student expulsion, long-term suspension recommendation number 2023-24 CC.
Mr. President, I move that we go into closed session.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Miners.
Aye.
Mr. Asha.
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Bear.
Aye.
Ms. Martin. Aye. And Mr. Dombrowski.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, the second one, B, request for closed session, student expulsion, long-term suspension recommendation 2023-24 KN.
Mr. President, I move that we go into closed session.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Miners.
Aye.
Mr. Asha.
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski.
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Bear, sorry.
Aye.
Ms. Martin, aye, and Mr. Dombrowski.
Aye. All right, item C, request for closed session, student expulsion, long-term suspension recommendation 2023-24 TJ.
Mr. President, I move that we go into closed session.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Miners.
Aye.
Mr. Asha.
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Bear.
Aye.
Ms. Martin, yes, and Mr. Dombrowski.
Aye. Okay, item D, request for closed session, readmission hearings, prior discipline, number 2022-23 VD and 2022-23 AD.
Mr. President, I move that we go into closed session.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bear, support by Ms. Martin. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Miners.
Aye.
Mr. Asha.
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Bear.
Aye.
Ms. Martin, aye, and Mr. Dombrowski.
Aye. And then lastly, we have request for closed session, attorney-client privileged communication.
Mr. President, I recommend that we go into closed session for the discussion of attorney-client privilege communication. That's what it says on the sheet.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Martin, support by Ms. Taylor. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Miners?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Aye.
Mr. Asha?
Yes.
Ms. Martin, yes, and Ms. Taylor?
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Aye. Okay, for the record, right now it is 8:14. We will go into recess. We'll reconvene at 8:20. I will request that the family and guardians for the situation on 2023-24 CC to be in the boardroom at 8:20, please. We will cease the broadcast here of the board meeting to the internet. If they wish to see any of the results of the actions taken, because all action taken by the board must be done in public. For those that may be interested, you can come on site here when we go back into open session to see what the action is by the board, which could be anywhere from nothing up to permanent expulsion. So that's all we have. We're in recess at 8:14.